All right. Happy Tuesday. How's your week going?
Oh, week is going. It's kind of busy actually. Yesterday was a busy Monday, but we're gonna get back to it today, and hopefully, I was able to catch up with some things. So busy so far.
Okay, okay,
Yours?
okay. Busy is good. It means you're being productive, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to have you here with me today as we continue our In the Valley of Transition series. We're talking about the courage to change, hoping to just share our experiences about our journey into entrepreneurship and hoping to encourage some others that are thinking about or at the beginning of their journey as they enter this whole new world of full-time entrepreneur, and all that it entails, for sure. So I am Janelle Hurst with Legacy Rose Company, and welcome back to our mini series in the Valley of Transition. I am with Legacy Rose Company. I'm the co-owner and CEO. We provide short-term rentals in the Charlotte market, Charlotte, North Carolina, and surrounding market. And we cater to business travelers and families relocating to this wonderful state of North Carolina. Sheree, so happy to have you. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Okay. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here. My name is Sheree Reed. I am the patient care strategist. I help healthcare organizations, schools, healthcare workers, and students provide impeccable patient care that is unmatched from alternative strategies, courses, or approaches.
Awesome, awesome. So today's topic I am really excited about, right? We're talking about your why. What is your why? As you start your entrepreneurial journey, you will get asked this question by other entrepreneurs, by coaches, by mentors. What is your why? Why do you want to do this? You'll get this question from family and friends also as you're talking about starting or what you want to do as you're talking about the dream, right? Even before it becomes a reality, why do
Yes.
you want to do it? So something you really have to be comfortable with, understand for yourself, know your why, and have a great why. Um, so we're talking about that today and just talking about what is your why and how that why translate into your business and how it fuels you, how it keeps you going on the journey, etc. So Sheree, for you, when you were thinking about, you had this dream of starting, your company, what, how did you come about your why? How did that why develop for you?
Okay. First, you have to answer some questions for yourself, right? You don't go into anything without knowing why you're doing it. At least you should not, right? So for me, my big why has been, one of those things I needed to continually think about, over the years and learn myself, learn who I am, and learn what I want for my life, right?
Mhm.
So in that, over the years, I know that I am totally in love with my freedom.
Mm.
My freedom has been the biggest why for me, the main why for me. And everything else, has followed that particular why. But freedom to me is huge. We get one life on earth as we know it, and
Mhm.
you want to be able to spend that life, that time with your loved ones, your family, going through a lot of traumatic experiences in my past. I am well aware of how important loved ones and family is. And
Yes.
to spend more than a third of your life doing something that is not really answering who you are
Mm.
is a biggest time kill for me, and that's what we have. We're all fighting against time.
Yes.
So When
Yes.
you're trying to work that in, you need to figure out your ultimate why. For me, it's the freedom to spend time with my family, to get to know myself better, to spend time with what I want to grow in my life, to serve a better purpose. And I
Mm,
know I am well suited to do that. And the thing that's been able that I see, in other entrepreneurs, for you to be able to do that is to create that freedom in your life. So
awesome. Awesome.
definitely a big deal.
Couple of things that you touched on that you mentioned that I want to touch on. You
Mhm,
know, you mentioned some traumatic experiences in your family and making sure you want to ensure that your family is set and there's only a short life, right?
mhm.
COVID-19, a lot of us lost loved ones. We
Yes.
lost family, friends, coworkers,
Mhm,
people young, old, it didn't matter, people that had pre-existing conditions, people that did not. Even today, we are still feeling the impact of that from a loss perspective, loss of life
mhm.
perspective, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that freedom to enjoy your life the way you want to and
Mhm,
create that freedom for yourself is a
mhm,
big reason for that why, right? Of
mhm.
that creating that entrepreneurial freedom. And
Yes.
and entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 job.
You're right.
We need all aspects of
Yes.
work,
Yes.
whether it's the 9 to 5 or the entrepreneurship. But
Mhm,
once you are transitioning from a work environment to entrepreneurship, you really need to understand and know your why for yourself, because that's the thing that is going to sustain you during the tough time, right?
mhm.
And it's
Yes.
going to be the thing you cling to during the good times as well,
Mhm,
because you
mhm.
you want to celebrate your small wins
Yes.
and your big wins in this journey of entrepreneurship.
Mhm,
So I love that you touched on that, and that actually is a part of my why as well. Having that freedom to live my life on my terms,
mhm.
but also I have small children and a husband, and man, I will tell you, the working mom guilt was so strong. And now, who in the entrepreneurial lane, I am homeschooling my kids full time, and I still get to do things like this, right? Here we
Mhm,
are in the middle of the day on a Tuesday doing a live,
mhm,
talking about my entrepreneurship journey, talking about our why, and sharing my experience with others that are in this journey or looking to get in this journey, and still doing the things I need to do with my other responsibilities of being a homeschool teacher, a mom, a wife, all the other jobs, titles I have in my life
mhm.
as well. It's a beautiful thing, but
Yeah.
it all comes at a cost, right?
Mhm,
So, what is that cost? What is that thing you're willing to give up to gain this freedom that entrepreneurship offers, right?
mhm.
And freedom, I mean, we can go down the road of freedom as well, because there's a certain freedom, I would use that term loosely, in the 9 to 5. And it's more, in my opinion, in line with comfort and
Right.
security, right?
Yeah.
Not so
Yeah.
much freedom, but it's more comfort and
Yes.
security. You have a
Yeah.
steady paycheck, you
Mhm,
have insurance, health
mhm,
insurance.
mhm,
Medical bills are one of the things that, people go into debt over if you
mhm.
have a
Yeah.
serious enough condition, or one bad accident could take you down the hole. So there's a certain comfort there.
Mhm,
When you go into the entrepreneurial lane and we're talking about creating freedom and financial freedom, freedom for your family. One of the benefits of being an entrepreneur is you get to um, create your income, and it's
mhm.
not limited
Right.
to what your company is willing to offer you for a position. It's
Mhm,
not limited to the 2 or 3% increase in possibility of bonus. The possibilities are endless in the entrepreneurial lane. And I love that aspect of the freedom of being an entrepreneur.
Yes, yes. For
Yeah.
me, it's, answering the why question. To piggyback off of that, we do it, as you said, we need all um, jobs, we need all careers. Um, but to answer that calling within yourself, you have to really um, hone in on what you want to do first.
Mm,
And for me, after I realized I am worthy and I know my worth, and that cap that you mentioned, I know I'm way much more than that. Once you
mhm,
realize your worth, you have to stand in your value. And there's a lot of people out here with an entrepreneurial mindset that's not standing in their value. So
mm.
once you get to working on your mindset and realize your value, you start wanting to come out of that comfort, right? That's your
Yes,
sacrifice. Come out of that, because without that, you're not realizing your worth. You have to live up to that. Own that. That's you. No one can take that from you. So once you own that, everybody around you, all of your clients, your potential clients, your prospects, are going to realize, yes, this individual is worth every penny, because you bring all of that. So don't
yes.
undervalue yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. I love what you just shared, right? Knowing what you want to do and who you want to serve, and but most importantly, knowing who you are, right?
Mhm,
Having a strong sense of self, belief
mhm,
in yourself, confidence in yourself, in your abilities to do what it is you're setting out to do,
mhm,
all of that. But yes, knowing what you want to do is the first thing, because
mhm,
going into entrepreneurship, starting a business, what do you want to do?
mhm,
You may be good at something, but it may not be the thing that you want to do as a business, right?
mhm,
You
mhm,
may have certain skill sets that you've been praised for in your career, but that may not be the thing that you want to go into business. Or you may have a hobby, right?
mhm,
But that's not your business. So really understanding what you want to do,
mhm.
doing your research on that, and
Yes.
making sure there's a market for it first and
Mhm,
foremost.
yes.
But then doing your homework on yourself too, right?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
mindset, right? That
Yeah.
mindset that you need. Oh, what
It's
happened to my
it's
camera?
yeah, I see your videos off, but that's
Sorry
it.
about
There
that.
you are. That's a big one.
Right, right. Knowing who you are, getting your mind right, doing that
Mhm,
mind work to prepare yourself for entrepreneurship. And then,
mhm,
like I said, being clear on what it is you want to do. And then, third, who you want to serve, right? Like,
mhm.
who is my target audience?
Correct.
What do I want to say to them? What
Mhm,
product or service am I providing? And then building around that, right?
mhm.
So, absolutely, absolutely
Yeah.
agree with you on that part. So again, talking with Sheree, I just went live on Instagram on my phone because StreamYard was not connecting my live on Instagram. So um, I'm on the phone here on my cell phone with Sheree with Impeccable Patient Care, and we are talking about your why. What is your why? Knowing your why and how your why fuels you in the entrepreneurship journey.
Mhm.
So, on your journey, Sheree, I want to ask, how has your why helped you in times of difficulty, in times when things aren't going rosy, when it's not beautiful and wonderful? How
So
has
you mean
your
like every
why,
other day?
how has your why helped you during those times, to stay true to your journey, to stay true to your business, stay plugged in, and keep putting in the work, keep showing up
Mhm.
for yourself, showing up for your clients, and keep putting in the work?
Oh, very, very important question. You have to visit that quite often because, as you know, life happens. It
Yes.
happens daily, it happens hourly, it happens by the minute, it happens by the second. So without knowing and being in touch with that ultimate why and standing ground. So, of course, I mentioned freedom as my first and foremost reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also, my financial stability and my worthiness. We had mentioned the cap that a job or a career may place on you, and knowing your self-worth of if you're worth more than that. That everything that you bring, you're worth more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, in staying in touch with those, it's a everyday reminder of me being true to myself.
Yes.
I have to remain true to myself. I can, convince myself that this comfortability with my career is great. I can do that. I can convince myself that, it's easier to have my organization pay for healthcare insurance, and I won't have to, bother with it too much. I can convince myself of these things, but I would not be honoring my true self. I would
Mm.
not be honoring what I want for myself, my desires every day, what I wake up with, what's on my heart every morning I wake up.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that, due to comfort, due to inability, there may be some obstacles in your life that makes it hard to, or honor yourself and explore your entrepreneurial realm. But I would say take the time to at least research what you want to do, and therefore you can kind of figure out, do I have the time for this? Can I make the time for this? And if your heart desires this to do it, you're going to make the time for it, right?
Yep.
Whatever you want to do. My mom used to say, when I would complain that I don't have time for, you have time for the things you want to do, right?
Right. Right.
You make the time. You make the time. So, and
Yeah.
if that's,
I love that.
dedicating, if that's dedicating the 1 hour a day to your research of it, and this includes research of yourself. What are
Mm-hmm.
you really holding on to? What are your really true strengths? What are you passionate about? Answer
Yes.
that. Your passion, because you can't shake that. Skills you can learn anywhere. Talent you can teach, but that passion, that comes from here, and you
Yep.
have to be able to answer that. And with that, you have to make the time for it.
Yep.
So if
I love
that's
that.
just the 1 hour a day, do that. Dedicate that time. You will be thankful for yourself for making that time for yourself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So again, we're talking about your why. What is your why? Knowing your why, how your why fuels you in your journey to entrepreneurship, or even while you're in the valley of transition or in the entrepreneurship journey full time. For me, my why of going into entrepreneurship, I wanted to have more autonomy in my work. I wanted to have more control over, my time, my personal time, how I spent it with my family, with my children. I wanted to build something that would be around for a while. I wanted to have or create something for that I can see myself leaving for my kids that would benefit them in the long run. And so I went into the real estate one. It was something that I've always been around, even growing up: property management, rental property, things like that. And then as a career, I've been a professional property manager for almost 20 years, both on the residential side and the commercial side. And when I was at a certain point in my life, I'm not going to say my age, I had a desire, and I said to myself that I wanted to work for myself after a certain point in life. And it got to that point, and I just was not happy where I was with my work, what was going on in my life at work and COVID and all of that. And I knew I could do what I was doing professionally for myself and be happier, have more time freedom, more time with my children, my husband, and pour into them in that way. So that my why stemmed from that, wanting more time freedom, more financial freedom, more autonomy in my work and what I do. And then of course the unlimited potential of income. It's based on truly on my efforts, right? And what I bring to the table, how I show up for myself, and how my why has fueled me in the difficult times. Knowing that I am doing this, part of my why is doing this for my kids. When the things get tough or when I need to figure it out, I just dig deep. Like you said, Sheree, your mom used to say, if there's something that you want bad enough, you will find a way to do it. You
Mhm.
will find a way to do it. If your why is tied to your success of that thing, you will find a way not only to do it, but to succeed at it and to knock it out of the park, baby. Okay. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I didn't know anything about creating a website. LegacyRose.com is a website I built, I put together, right? There's so many things that I was able to do because I just applied myself, put my mind to it. And of course, my why was fueling that. Like, I have to make this a success. I have to create something for myself, my children to sustain. And a financial is a big part of that. We need food, clothing, and shelter, and that does not grow on trees, right? You need money, you
Exactly.
need all of that. So what about you, Sheree? I want to put that question to you. Can you give an example of how being strongly connected to your why has helped you through those difficult times to show up and to dig deep and to push even further?
Mhm. Well,
And I
for
want to,
me,
before you go ahead and answer, I just want to say a quick hello and good afternoon to a few people that have joined us on Instagram Live. Welcome. If you guys have questions about your why, our journey into entrepreneurship, be sure to put it into the comment or the chat and we'll respond. I'm here with Sheree on Impeccable Patient Care on StreamYard, and I will turn the camera around to her.
so and just answering the why, the ultimate why, the examples. For me, it was just with school full time, work full time, business full time. There's days where I am just okay. I don't know if I'm coming or going. So in those days, remembering what I got into it for, why I got into it
Hmm.
is paramount. That is the thing that fuels me. And being in school, I've learned so much that I can add to my business. I've been in healthcare for over 17 years.
Wow.
I have numerous accolades from the Air Force Base, from different departments, from different hospitals, from patients themselves on the incredible work that I do. So it's revisiting that,
Mhm.
knowing that, I have all of my awards, all of my testimonials from patients themselves, directors, managers, commanders. Um, and every now and then I have to dig those out and I
Yep,
have to I
yep.
have to read them because some days it's like, okay, what were you thinking? But once I dig out those and I'm reading my patients heartfelt, I come into the hospital not knowing if I'm going to be able to walk out. You were able to sustain my joy while going through being sick. To
Mhm.
hear that,
Yes.
that you can't ignore that. That is a
Nope.
passion, and
Mhm.
you can, you will not be doing yourself. You will do yourself a disservice if you don't answer that, if you don't respond to that.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
that is a big thing. Whatever your field may be, that passion, it will always come up for you, and it'll always be a force to be reckoned with. You need
Mm-hmm.
to answer that, respond to that, figure
Mm-hmm.
out how I can actually tackle that and still be able to move on with my priorities in life, what I have
I
to
love
do.
it. I
So,
love it. I love it. And it goes back to what we mentioned earlier, right? Being aware of yourself, right?
mhm,
Investing in yourself, knowing who you are, whose you are, what you're going to do, and why you want to do this thing, why you
yeah,
want to get on this train in the
mhm,
first place, right?
right,
Why
right,
you want to take this ride and go
yeah,
on this journey,
mhm,
and like you mentioned, looking back at the accolades you've received from patients from across your career of 17, 18, however long you've been doing what you've been doing, you
mhm,
have gotten, I'm sure, received lots of feedback. And not all of it was negative. A lot of it
right,
will be positive. And
mhm,
when times get tough, look back on those and reassure yourself, I did this once, I can do it again. One,
mhm,
and then two, if I can do it for an employer, why can't
yeah,
I do it for myself as an
there you go,
entrepreneur? I can
there you go,
create these same results in
mhm,
my company as an entrepreneur, and
mhm,
even more so because I get to create the rules this time.
right,
I'm not
right,
operating within a box of what my employer says. Because
mhm,
especially in customer service,
oh yeah,
a lot of times you can only do so much based on
mhm,
company policy.
right,
And once you're the one creating that policy, you can take it a little bit further,
yeah,
right? You can
mhm,
take that a little bit further in your industry and make an even greater impact. Because one of the reasons most people go into entrepreneurship is to make a greater impact, right? To give more, to be more, to do more. So
right,
take that and definitely, channel everything that you're good at into that, and don't second guess yourself. Know who
yes,
you are, get
yes,
your mind right. And
mhm,
if you need a pick me up, a boost, go back and reread those reviews, reread those accolades that you received over
yeah,
your career. Do a pen and paper, old school,
yes, yes,
advantages, disadvantages of doing this, things that I'm good at, things that I can work on, and find resources and people, get your tribe around you
mhm,
that will support you, whether that is a coach, a accountability partner, a therapist. Get your
mhm,
tribe right. And
yeah,
and when I say right, people that are in your corner supporting you, people that are going to, push your vision further
mhm,
and go along for the ride, not those that are just going to talk down and decrease your own motivation.
mhm.
So, as we wrap up this topic of your why, any parting thoughts that you want to share, Sheree?
Yes, of course. Stand in your value.
Yes,
Key.
stand in your
It's
value. I
key.
love that.
That is key. Over the years, I struggled with this notion of standing in my value and what that entailed for me. But once I realized what that is, I would not honor myself without it. So
Mm,
I have to be able to stand in my value. And whatever that thing is that's knocking at your heart, knocking at your soul to come forth, answer that. And if that's just simply writing it down, listen, when you speak it, it becomes apparent. But when you write it down,
mm, yes. Tell
that
it.
right that
Tell it,
that
sis.
is a testament within itself. Write that thing down and watch it come forth. Okay?
Yes.
Write it down. I everything that especially big goal that I want to accomplish, I've written it down. And as over the past couple of years, I've seen it actually come forth and in amazement, because what it does inside of you is it keeps it current, and you're
Yep.
going to keep striving for that thing, right? You see
Yes.
it, okay, it's on my mind. I got to keep working at that. And little things during your day, during your week, you're going to start putting forth effort to that thing that you wrote down.
Yes,
So
yes,
write that
yes.
down, stand in your value.
Oh my goodness, you are preaching today, Miss Sheree. You are
Got to.
preaching, my sister.
We
Write it
we have
down.
to.
Yes. You know, when I was in corporate America and working on my transition plan, I definitely, the one of the things I would say that was most impactful on that journey was writing down my plan for one, and two, writing down my transition date, the
Mhm.
date I'm going to transition. That
Yeah.
was so impactful, right? Coming to that decision was a big step, but saying on this date, I'm
Right.
going to transition. I'm going to give my notice on this date, and I'm going
Mhm.
to start this journey 100% on this date. It is, whew, writing it down. I may tell you, it makes it so real.
Oh my goodness,
When
it
the
does.
rubber meets the road, as they say, the rubber meets the road, and now you have to roll up your sleeves and start working at it, right? Working that plan, putting the steps in place so that you can achieve that transition date or whatever it is that goal is that you wrote down, and put it someplace that you can see it every day. That would
Mhm.
be the thing I would add to what you just said, Sheree.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
put it in a, whether it's on your mirror in your bathroom
Mhm.
or on your dry erase board, on your phone, wherever you will see it every day. Put your goals, put your why, put what is important to you, write it down and put it where you can see it every day. Reread it every day, say it to yourself every day. And those days when you don't feel 100% in belief, in love with that thing, you just read it until you believe it, right? You just
Yeah.
read it until it becomes a part of you, that this
Mhm.
is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, these are my goals. And yes, one step at a time, you'll get there. So
Yes.
thank you again for joining this live. We're talking about your why. We're talking about how your why fuels you in your entrepreneurial journey. We so many great tips in this segment here. This is a mini series we're doing, sponsored by Legacy Rose Company, as we encourage others getting into the entrepreneurship journey of what the journey looks like in the valley of transition. Today, we were talking about your why, being clear on it, knowing it, holding on to it, especially in the when times get tough, right? So thanks so much for joining, and we'll be back on Thursday. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for Thursday. Another friend of mine is going to join us, and we're going to be talking about getting to your place of blessing on Thursday. And I think that's such a fitting topic to close out the month of September, getting to your place of blessing. See everybody on Thursday. Please join us at 1:30 on Thursday, September 30th. Have a great one, everybody. All right. All right. What a great